Hey guys. Hello. Hey Jay Teller. How's it going, my friend? All right. Let's see. All right. So, weird day today. I didn't even plan on streaming necessarily. I have been doing an absolute ton of work today. I did, well, relatively so. I did about oh god. How much I probably did about 7 minutes of footage for our next video. So that's good. 7 minutes is a lot of footage as far as the video goes, and editing it on a timeline. And I was able to pump that out just this morning. I was really hyper efficient, which is cool. But I see a lot of people struggling to understand Hegel. Absolutely. Yeah, no, not a problem. English is fine. Perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable. No, absolutely. That's something that I even struggle to explain Hegel to people sometimes. It's so radically different from the way we think today, even in today's world, which is really ironic, right? And in today's world, we talk we talk in which things are just objects, right? They're just singular objects transfixed in time. They're stationary, and that's not it, right? With a dialectical analysis, things are interconnected. They're multifaceted, or dual faceted rather, in a dialectical sense. And then they move, right? They're part of a process, and putting that into language is very tough. That's one thing where I would be interested in sort of a linguistic analysis of dialectics, where language in a way seems to be molded around this. I use the language with Frederick Engels because I like it, but it's totally different in which other people use the term in philosophy, metaphysics. But Engels calls the opposite of dialectics, the unidimensional approach to an analysis, being Lockean metaphysics. But this Lockean metaphysics seems to just it almost seems to be born out of language in a way too, right? Where language, it's hard to put into words, and it's hard to appreciate through pure language dialectics, right? And the way language is structured, it's like very singular. It's unidimensional in some ways. Some people saying it because we don't know enough Kant. I think Kant's nice too. I think Kant's definitely, it's serviceable to Hegel. A lot of people say you have to read Kant before Hegel. I don't really like that. I actually don't necessarily agree. I haven't, and partially it's because I haven't read a lot of Kant. But I know a lot about Kant, and I had to take a class that went into Kant like heavy. Like it was like half the fucking class was Kant. The universal, infinite, subjective movement of spirit. That's it. That's just about it. And one way to explain it. But I figured I was gonna stream, guys. I figured I was gonna stream today. I didn't plan on it. I didn't even realize, guys. Mark Fisher. It was 4 years ago. This is his anniversary of his death. So that's sad. And then we just had an impeachment situation. Well, a positive situation, I suppose. Trump got impeached, which is good. But it probably won't mean much. Granted, he's gone soon, in like a week. The Senate will have to remove him, and I don't even know if those proceedings will be up until like afterwards. But I don't know. People just don't use enough neologisms, to be honest, and that's why logical empiricism is the greatest oppressor in a lot of ways. Absolutely, I think this is where, and that's a little bit of a Kantian thing, right? Maybe, I mean. Kant had a similar idea, although not necessarily in the true dialectical form as we think today. But I see that what you mean. Yeah. Empiricism is just, it's not, empiricism on its own doesn't seem to be enough to explain phenomenon, right? Or phenomena, right? And how the world is shaped and how it operates and stuff. It's not a transfixed empirical situation in a way, and I think that's, I in that way, I'm a Hegelian at heart in so many ways. I think Hegel is, out of the classic philosophers, Hegel's my favorite. He was probably the last you can consider classic philosophers. I would say Hegel probably is, but just fucking just god tier level of genius for sure. And maybe that might be an overstatement too, because I think in some ways Hegel just took the Greeks super serious in a lot of ways. Like he just kind of like he took the Greeks a little bit more seriously than other people, and then he applied this sort of Western method where like dialectics, especially his dialectics, it's true. Like the Encyclopedia of the Philosophical Sciences. It's dialectics. It doesn't make a lot of sense to some people in which we use something, we use the term science, but dialectics is a sort of scientific way, a scientific as far as an analytical way to look at it, but we don't use science in that same way. Like, we're making a video right now, guys, on Engel's Socialism, Utopian, and Scientific, and that's the book where he goes into dialectics a lot, and that's what he calls the scientific mode of socialism. But I'm thinking about putting in the video like a little disclaimer where Engels explicitly talks about a science from the 1880s, like a historical point in time where science was radically different than what we consider science today. Definitely transcendentalists came over into a Western American and then influenced people like McKenna and Lear. Yeah. Terence McKenna. Yeah. It was too late to complain about how was it? Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, so getting into McKenna, there's also some other things that we could get into as well. I think one avenue that's I'm not going to be the guinea pig for this. I've done acid. I've done shrooms, but I don't think I could do that. But I think a new terrain for theory and philosophy absolutely will and should exist within psychedelics. I really do think so. I think that psychedelics should become a more academic endeavor as we think of it. But obviously that was the actual trajectory with people like Terence McKenna. He was actually, we think about it as like the way he talks is like Eastern pseudoscience, but no, Terence McKenna actually did take a little bit more of a structured approach to like psychedelics and that realm of things. But then, of course, the U.S. government just like criminalized LSD and magic mushrooms and psilocybin. So, but that's one tragedy. That philosophy. I think philosophy would be a completely different field today if psychedelics were not criminalized. I don't know about you guys, but I've thought about that a lot. And yeah, I've taken acid, I've taken shrooms, and I've actually enjoyed every time I have. But I'm not a big drug person. I don't drink a lot. I hardly drink. I enjoy some beer, certain beers. I suppose some whiskey. I like whiskey, but I'm not I don't get drunk. I don't enjoy. It's weird. I'm a weird individual in that regard. My drug really, or the thing that is like a stimulant that I consume the most is something like coffee, but that's about it for me. Sure, all new age thinkers in America, they're dope group of people. Yeah, I live in Greece, by the way, and Greek is my native language. It's not Chinese though. No problem, man. It's not Chinese though. China #1, PUBG. But yeah, so how are you guys doing? You guys all doing good? Anyone read Peter Showstead? I have not. I always get those questions. Every stream, there's always like, hey, Epoch, have you read so-and-so? I'm like, listen, you guys are probably way smarter than me. No, I have not read a lot of these people. I'm actually relatively, I don't know. I mean, I talk about this quite a bit. I think I've talked to you guys about this quite a bit, but something that comes up. Theory is a relatively new pursuit for me, right? And it's something that, because I come from a political perspective and a historical perspective, the failings of those fields actually push me towards theory. Thus, theory is a little bit new to me. So, Pog, what's up, Chiefy? Hey, recently discovered your channel. I love the content. Thank you, Hassan. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm glad you're here. How do you think modern philosophy would be different if psychedelics weren't criminalized? Well, so there is like right now, and I mean that in a number of ways, right? So, the contemporary face of philosophy is sort of, I don't want to say in trouble, because when you approach philosophy, you get into philosophy, realize it's really not. But from the outside, in which people think of philosophy, people think philosophy doesn't really like exist anymore. They're like, oh, there's nothing like new. What is philosophy doing today and stuff? Like, it's just like hard sciences and stuff, where psychedelics from a scientific perspective is exactly where philosophy would come in, right? Where philosophy could add clarity to a lot of things, could add clarity to psychedelics in tandem with actual hard sciences, perhaps. And so I think that it would open up a completely new terrain where when we started actually like experimenting with psychedelics on like an academic level sort of thing was like, I think like the 50s or 60s, really, like when that was happening. And then it was criminalized after that. Think about like in 2021, where we would be right now. Like philosophy would look quite a bit different. I think we'd be hearing more about acid communism and shit like that, but in a totally different light, I'm sure. And there's no way I can predict what that would be. I just am pretty sure, given how crazy psychedelics are, the realm of philosophy would look a bit different today. I've no doubt. And to me, that's sad. Yeah, Aldous Huxley discussed psychedelics a lot, actually, for sure. He combined psychedelic theory with and process philosophy. I gotcha. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. There's a lot of, there is an area of psychedelics and like the whole Eastern like astral projection thing that I don't like a little bit. I find it to be a little, and in that vein, continental philosophy is so much more analytical than that. And I don't really like it sometimes. But I think that psychedelics absolutely has a place in a more concrete philosophical or theoretical sense, rather than just like some YouTubers like Koi Fresco or Fresco, whatever, makes videos about, like, I don't know. It's really fucking silly. Return to Kierkegaard. It'd be like Heidegger, Sartre, psych. I think so. Yeah. No, that's a good example where there would probably be an existential tonality to a psychedelic theory, right? And philosophy. I'm trying to think, when I don't know about you guys, if any of you guys have, am I even allowed? I can discuss this on YouTube. Fuck that. There's no way I can't. I remember, and this isn't some like deep prophetic thing or anything, but I remember whenever I did acid one time, and I pretty much did it in not the worst place. I was in my living room when I lived at my mom's house, but I did it with a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, and we were in our living room and we both did acid. And I remember sitting there, and you can definitely feel when you're like coming up to it. And it's really, really weird. It's very, very strange. As someone I took mushrooms before then too, and it didn't feel like mushrooms in that regard. It was much more potent, but in a light and airy sort of way. And I remember when my friend went outside, he was like, dude, it was his first time doing it too. Come outside. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right, I'll come outside. And not a big deal. It was kind of like rainy and cold and shit. Guys, when I walked outside from being inside of my house, it hit me like a fucking ton of bricks, just instantly floored, like my entire body. I felt like I was being touched by like the atmosphere, and like I could feel everything. It was so fucking strange. It made me cry almost. I got really I remember getting like teary eyed. I remember just standing there. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is going on? I remember I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I've felt this before. It felt like the entire atmosphere was like touching your body is the best way to describe it. And it felt really not like heavy. It felt like you were cloaked in something, like something was cloaking. It felt like I was being cloaked in something, but it wasn't heavy. It was like light and airy, and it was good. Everything was fine. But I remember that was really interesting. There was a weed church I saw in Bill Maher's documentary. I don't like weed very much, man. I gotta be honest with you guys. I used to smoke pot quite often. I don't smoke it really at all anymore. Especially now, if it was legalized, I knew what strain I was getting my hands into. Yeah, I would try certain strains for sure. But not knowing what I'm smoking half the time is bad, because like it's just Weed makes me paranoid in a lot of ways, right? I've had some pretty, and not only that, guys, I've had psychedelic experiences on pot. I think I might be a bit of a lightweight, but I've had like psychedelic level of experiences on marijuana, and I know a lot of people can't do that. I don't know why. But I think I'm sensitive to substances like that. Like I don't know why, but I've like had crazier experiences on marijuana than I ever did mushrooms. Not on acid. Acid was way crazier, but it was a different kind of crazy. Makes me want to try acid. Well, be careful. One of the reasons why I wouldn't do acid again is because getting it from a good person that's not selling you really kind of, to be honest, dangerous shit. Is a little difficult. I worked with a dude. He used to work at a Guitar Center, and you can imagine how many of the people in there did drugs all the time. But one dude, he was like, dude, this stuff's legit. He was like, it's actual. He told me it was real LSD, because acid, there's different types of acid. LSD is like the original acid. It's LSD, matter of fact, is completely safe. Just about. I mean, don't go do a bunch of LSD. But relatively so, like physically, it isn't going to, you can't die from acid or anything like that. It can't like really harm you. It'll fuck with your brain chemistry, no doubt. But it's not going to like, have a lot of detrimental effects compared to other forms of acid. And most acid today is not LSD. It's totally different synthesized chemical shit. And so he told me this was real LSD. So I just took it once, and I had a good experience. I got really nauseous at the end, which is really weird because when people take acids, they almost never get nauseous. You usually get nauseous on mushrooms, but I got nauseous at the end of my acid trip. I don't know why. I was really, really nauseous. I took shrooms, but I feel it mixed badly with my anxiety. Yeah, I developed anxiety, years after that. I never used to have anxiety, but I recently went through a pretty bad bout. I think I've talked about it with you guys, but I'm good now. I just got on medication. I'm fine. But I felt super strong urge to count every object in the room, but wasn't able to. Ooh. Man, that sounds a little bit... Yeah, that sounds right. Mushrooms, if I can remember right, I didn't have this with mushrooms, but a lot of people talk about mushrooms being like a very intense form of marijuana in some ways. I never had that because marijuana makes me feel like cognitively distorted and I can't do the things that I want to do. I never felt that once on acid. On acid and mushrooms, I always felt like I was totally in control of everything. Oddly, and like I was in control of everything, but I was in control of myself, if that makes sense. And when I smoke pot, I don't feel that. I feel like I'm radically not in control of myself, and I don't like it. So yeah, absolutely. Why do you think today psychedelics are promoted, but smoking is banned? Psychedelics, at least in the United States, is not very promoted in a lot of ways. Who should I check out after Fisher? Capitalist realism got in a post-capitalist desire. Heard Nick Land would be. Yeah, I don't know much about Nick Land. I know a lot of people have some pretty controversial. Nick Land's a controversial figure, so I can't really comment. I don't know much about Nick Land other than he's got a very hardcore sort of accelerationist viewpoint on at least our contemporary capitalism today. I can't take acid or shrooms. My life has always been so fucked. I always end up having. Oh shit, man! I'm sorry to hear that. Jeez. That is, yeah. A lot of people sell research chemicals as acid. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So guys, don't go out and take a bunch of fucking acid or anything like that. I just think if we could, it's safer too if you fucking legalize. If acid is legal, it's safer. You know what I mean? It's so much safer. You know what you're getting, the right dosages. It's regulated, which is the stupid part. Have you ever tried Kratom? Yes, Kratom's fucking sick. I love Kratom. I actually had a really bad time on Kratom once. Not that it did anything to me cognitively. Kratom doesn't make you like high or anything, but fuck, does it feel good. All right, so I looked up. I had some Kratom on me. I've bought Kratom a couple times. And for all you guys who don't know, Kratom's like a plant. It's non-psychoactive. It feels a little bit like opiates in a way. It has a similar feeling to it as opiates, and a lot of like people who are opiate addicted, Kratom helps get them off. But anyways, Kratom's fucking awesome. Dude, that shit rules. Anyways, I took some Kratom one morning, and I looked up a recipe. I'm like, all right, how much do I take? And it called for 2 teaspoons of Kratom. And you can get sick on kratom, guys. It's not going to hurt you. You'll just get sick and throw it up. So I took, instead of 2 teaspoons, my dumbass 18-year-old self, I took fucking 2 tablespoons of kratom. Not 2 teaspoons. I took 2 tablespoons. And I ate that shit, and oh my God, did I feel so good for the first 2 hours, guys. I was sitting on my couch at like 10 in the morning. I was like, I was just like, fuck, man, this feels awesome. I was like, this is so great. And the kratom is weird, man. It feels like it's weird. It's like a very warm, very good feeling. And then like an hour later, I was like, God, I don't feel very good. I was like, I was like, man, I don't feel very good. And I was like, man, how much did I take? Did I fuck up? I looked back on the recipe thing and I realized that I took 2 tablespoons instead of 2 teaspoons. And I was like, fuck. And the rest of the day, guys, I was sick. Like, I was sick as fuck. I didn't throw up, but I swear to God, I felt like I was going to throw up every hour. Like, I was like, oh my God, I had to go to the bathroom every hour. And I was just like waiting to throw up, and it never happened. I never ended up throwing up, but I remember just being sick and sleeping the entire day. It literally made me sick because I took too much fucking kratom. But it doesn't hurt. Kratom's like really, really safe for the most part, as I know. You can do accelerationism on your own without reading Nicoland. Yeah, accelerationism as a concept is just super easy to understand, I think. It isn't like, I'm sure there's great like theoretical tonalities with accelerationism, but yeah, I don't think it requires that much. Taco is real drug. Yeah, tacos are real drugs, dude. Like, actually, I'm not gonna lie. It gives you goodwill towards man, my friend. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it too. Yeah, kratom is just like a feel good thing all around. It's like it's a drug in the sense that like coffee is a drug. Honestly, like people think kratom's some like fucking. It sounds dangerous and shit. Kratom's a plant to a lot of you guys who don't know. Red Bali is the best. I didn't know that. I need to try it again now that I'm. I tried taking kratom again after that, guys. After I got really sick, Alex, and I just couldn't. I kept feeling sick. Kratom tastes like fucking hell, though. So that's a part of it. Kratom tastes like shit, but oh my God, is it amazing. That sounds exactly like my first kratom experience. Felt amazing for about 2 hours, then barf screaming my guts out. Did you start throwing up after it, Chase? That's funny. Yeah, I didn't end up throwing up. I don't know how. I was like on the verge every time. I was like, all right, when's this gonna fucking happen? And it just didn't happen. Larger doses feel like an opiate. You must take kratom on an empty stomach. Gotcha. Taco Bell Baja Blast is more dangerous than kratom. You probably, actually, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure. Like if you took kratom every day, I don't think it'd have any health impacts versus fucking Mountain Dew would probably rip your fucking organs apart in the long term. Good times just talking about drugs on stream, guys. No, but for real, like I said, guys, I don't take a lot of drugs. I don't take a lot of drugs. I don't drink alcohol, really. I don't really do drugs of any kind at all. But the one thing I do, I love coffee. It's really weird, guys. I'm not like a substance person. Like caffeine itself doesn't make me go fucking crazy. I'm not one of those people who drinks coffee just for fucking getting the caffeine rush. There's people who drink 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day, and it's explicitly because they love caffeine. I don't. I just love coffee. I fucking love coffee. I love the taste of it. It's fucking amazing. I love it so much. Mark Fisher radicalized me. Yeah, dude. Okay, guys, here's the deal. Here's something I get fucking sick of. I know Mark Fisher is just incredible. Here's something I get sick of. There is a lot. Okay, the online tonality about radicalization when it comes to politics is almost always, when they talk about theory, they bring up traditional Marxist theory. They're like, you want to be radicalized, bro? Fucking read State and Revolution, bro. Read Lenin, man. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, Lenin would do fucking 5%. 5 fucking percent compared to fucking Mark Fisher, or even like critical theory, like the Frankfurt School. The Frankfurt School is so much better at radicalizing people than older Marxist fucking Marxist theory, which old Marxist theory is wonderful. Like you should read it, but like we talk about like like the online like portion of, you know, like politics, it's so fucking just like, it's kind of cringe because you can tell it's aesthetic. Like, yeah, man, I'm for the fucking revolution, dude. I fucking read State and Revolution, man. I read all of Lenin. And it's just like, dude, I promise you the most radicalizing effects of theory is how well it can describe our situation in capitalism. And naturally, Marxist theory does not have, with pure materialism, does not have the best philosophical lens at examining capitalism today. It doesn't. Critical theory and in some ways, like a postmodern analysis of critical theory and capitalism is hands down so much more important and relevant for sure. So I just, yeah, I don't know, man. That bugs me. I'm just like, yeah, Marcuse as well. Like, you know, we're talking about Mark Fisher, guys. And, you know, Mark Fisher has done a lot to put into contemporary language about how mental health effects are not, they've been partitioned into the realm of like this just systemic sort of just like, it happens, like mental health issues. Yeah. You know, you gotta watch out for that, man. And Marcuse was a big backbone in that, right? Marcuse wrote in Eros and Civilization that what happened after Freud is that the neo-Freudian schools, they treated like mental illness and psychology as a radically individual endeavor. And he was like, what the fuck? You guys are idiots. You guys are fuck you guys. And I love it. It was wonderful. Dude, Marcuse did not hold back on people like Carl Jung either. I loved it. And he said, like, guys, this is not an individual endeavor. The world, the sociological realm around us is very much capable of being viewed through a psychoanalytic lens. And not only is it capable from being viewed from a psychoanalytic lens, it aids itself better than the traditional individual approach. Right. So, you know, everything from the Frankfurt School down to like people like Mark Fisher, it's so much more fucking relevant than any fucking Marxist theory there is. Like, I'm serious. Like, I say that as someone who's I would consider myself pretty Marxist in my politics, but it's completely, yeah. Wouldn't the postmodern analysis lead to rejecting of working class politics? Well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think so my approach to a postmodern analysis is more or less looking at the postmodern condition of how we live today, right? So it's not necessarily like the rejection of the narrative or like the grouping of, which you could make that under but Thomas, you could make that under a postmodern sort of lens, and people do, and they have. But I think like people like Jameson, like postmodernism or the cultural logic of late capitalism, I think that's sort of the approach where, you know, it's this condition of capitalism today is what is postmodernism, in the sense that like we're like, right, like we're at like like this is where I think like postmodernism isn't like like right wingers will say postmodernism because of Jordan fucking Peterson, and they'll act like it's some collectivist like sort of analysis. Dude, postmodernism, or at least the conclusions from postmodernism, is that like we are at like a radical stage of individuality. Like today, like we are radically individual, far more individual than we ever were even in like the 50s and 60s, far more individual than we ever were during the Enlightenment. It's that we are in the end stage of the process of enlightenment. And I consider that sort of this world that we live in is this postmodernism. It is the ultimate hyper like form. It is the apex of modernity. And hyper individuality, right? So in that sense, like it's just an examination in the way I use postmodernism in this regard. It's an examination into the political realm in which we live and how we navigate this ever confusing world. Because I think that's the most prescient universal today, in my opinion, is that we are just confused. Guys, I truly don't like we have access to so much information. And I think in a way it is just like utter confusion. In that sense, like we do lose grand narratives, right? We are uber skeptical of fucking everything. And sometimes, you know, it does the opposite, right? You see QAnon and then you do have new grand narratives and shit. And that forms from skepticism, but it's just, we are fucking, yeah, ultimate atomization is a good way to put it. And it's just, everything is just distorted, and everything is distorted while everything is separate all at once. And it's really like, it's dismal. Frankfurt doesn't have cool merch though. Yeah, that's true. They don't have the hammer and sick. Exactly. Like I can't look cool like being a fucking Frankfurt school stan, man. I can't listen, dude. I can't go on fucking social media and I can't, listen, I can't say death to capitalist or whatever and all that cool shit. I mean, look, I don't like capitalism either, but like, god damn, man, it's so fucking apparent how fucking surface aesthetic that whole shit is, dude. It's just fucking goddamn cringe, dude. Peterson's fault is attaching dude, Peter, that's not his only fault, as a postmodernism isn't mostly a post-Marxist movement like Baudrillard. I know. Peterson is like the worst fault. Peterson is a fucking idiot, dude. And it's like he's an idiot on purpose. Like, I think that's, I don't know. Maybe not. I think that he knows. No, guys. Peterson knows what he said for all his years is bullshit. There's no way he doesn't. Maybe not. I don't fucking know. But, speaking of postmodern confusion, yeah, I don't fucking know, but he's wrong about just about everything, so that's cool. Could have a real chance if these are real cultural World War III in North America. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I thought about that. I'm like, man, are we gonna have another world war or something? I don't know. That's a really, I'm honestly going to say, like, I think the odds of having another world war is actually quite a bit lower than what we think, I think. Susan Murray, have you seen the new Cumtown? What the fuck is that? No, seen the new Cumtown? What is that? New Cumtown dropped? What? He can't even get Jung right. Yeah, so I don't know too much about Carl Jung specifically on like some points, but yeah, even like it seems like even his ideas in which like archetypes exist is actually kind of wrong compared to a lot of psychologists have been like, yo, Jordan Peterson doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, even to like Carl Jung. Like the dude is just monumental grift, and props to him, man. Holy fuck, dude. I mean, this dude played the entire internet like a fiddle. Holy fuck. Talk about, guys, Jordan Peterson is like he's like the sophist of like ancient Greece and shit. Like he just I don't know, Cumtown as a podcast. Oh shit. Oh god, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not well acquainted with the internet then. No, I haven't seen it. Is Cumtown good? Is it a good podcast? When Zizek asked if Peterson actually knew any postmodernist, yeah, he's like, do you know, like he asked, he's like, any postmodernist or the Marxist? I do agree with Peterson so here's the thing. I do sort of agree with Peterson in the postmodern tonality that we experience today, but that's he like acts like this is purely a fucking educational thing, like in college, like, oh, the postmodernists. I'm like, no, dude, like our entire world is radically postmodern. Like people are nihilistic beyond fucking like comprehension. I get what he, and I think Zizek even said the same thing. Like, I get what you mean by the postmodern thing. Like, I do. And I do too. Like, I really do. I think there is this radically unserious approach to politics today and a lot of things. And it's disguised as something that is serious, right? So a lot of people think like a fucking Chapo Trap House that's the Chapo Trap House level fucking thing where it's just like, where it's like it disguises to a lot of people. I'm not saying they purposely disguise themselves as fucking peak intellectuals. I know people at Chapo Trap House, the host or whatever, they don't think of themselves like that, and that's fine. But people treat them like they are. They act like Chapo Trap House is like this pure fucking intellectual pursuit that they're listening to while they're it's dumb. And so in that sense, there is this postmodern, unserious tonality to a lot of things. So I do get that. So Cumtown is like here, let's go. So Cumtown is like Chapo Trap House, but dirtbaggier. God damn, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. What is there a channel? Or is this okay? Douglas Lane. Oh, here we go, featuring.
Yeah, all right, great.
Like you, we don't want to do this either.
So we're going now. This is the show.
God damn.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
0 inches
If you're
books.
listening, we're trying out something new.
Here, I'll show you. 0 inch.
We got the phone plugged into the board.
Yeah, we're doing a call-in segment like sports.
Fucking look like Gramsci,
Lane. Is it Lane?
Stalin, Lenin.
Yeah, Lane.
But this is what I mean, guys. This is exactly here. This is peak postmodernism right here. Holy fuck. They're probably going to talk about some serious shit like fascism emerging in the United States. Guys, seriously, perfect definition of postmodernism. But it's like, that's okay. Like, I'm not saying this can't exist. It's just like, this is confusing as fuck to most people, whether they realize it or not. Like, this stuff, they'll take very fucking serious. People will take this shit seriously. They'll pretend that they're not. They'll pretend that they're not taking it seriously. Like, oh no, man. Like, I just like, listen, I go to fucking, you know, like alternative dive bars and shit like that. And, you know, listen, I'm just into like the funny shit like this, but this will actually be people's peak fucking analysis. You know, maybe the analysis is good. I'm just saying that the postmodern like facade is there. I get it. I understand. Like, oh, fuck, that's not Gramsci. That's Trotsky, isn't it? Fuck. I'm an idiot. And then there's Mao. Okay, I don't know. I thought that was Yeah, I thought that was Gramsci too. I was like, this isn't. Yeah, okay. Chapo is annoying. It's like a leftist branded pod save America, dude. Dude, more than what they'd ever want to fucking admit. In a way, like it's truly like look, I appreciate Chapo Trap House for like what it is, but fuck me, man. People who love Chapo Trap House are some of those insufferable fucking people. And holy shit, they approach politics in the most arrogant way. And they like. I would love to talk to Douglas Lane, guys. I would. Hey, listen. I don't know how I could even contact Douglas Lane. Listen, I'm a dumb fuck like 23-year-old kid who. I don't know. I just like theory, but like, listen, I don't know. I would love to talk to have people on here like Douglas Lane. I think this Friday, though, by the way, guys, I'm gonna stream this Friday. I think we're gonna have Victor on from the Pill Pod again. He's the political dude, and you know, I'm also a sort of political dude, just a little bit, but he's the real. Listen, he's a PhD student, political theory guy. This dude. He's a Dark Souls boss while I'm not. Anyways, I don't listen to Chapo. I love Come Town though. It's stupid funny. I want to listen to.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was Lane.
Good buddy.
It could be pronounced Lane.
Lane. No, it's Lane.
Are you
Lion
like
Doug. We got Lion.
Are you
Sorry.
related
Yeah.
to Nathan Lane?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I went to high school with a dude named Nathan Lane, and he was fucking terrible. He was like the biggest fucking dipshit on this earth.
No,
Anyways.
actually no. And it's spelled differently, I think.
We got Doug.
Yo, you ever have viewer call-ins? No, I haven't, but I'll do them. Yeah, I think I could do that sometime. Yeah, fuck it, let's do that. I'll have some viewer call-ins. We can do that. I doubt a major war would ever happen again in developed nations. That's what I think so too. Like I think it's a possibility, right? It's not to say that things aren't necessarily unstable, but I think maybe a little bit more stable than what we give credit to. You know, Chris Cutrone, founder of Platypuses. Platypuses. Yeah, I had not.
Famously brother of Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane's brother. Also gay brother.
To talk to us about his experience on the set of Mousetrap.
That was a pretty crazy movie.
Could you guys imagine this fucking dude was in perpetual battle with like
Oh, that guy, yeah.
This guy wanted to really fucking kill this guy really, really bad. Honestly, Stalin, like you're a fucking pussy, dude. Like,
Oh, okay.
how does this man? I don't know.
They hired
Like fucking ice pick to the back of the head.
Though before, because we already we recorded one episode, but I did want to say up top because it's the first episode we've done since the Capitol Hill thing.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
to Capitol?
Rest in peace to the guy who shocked his nuts.
The dude who shocked his balls in fucking
Then we can get going.
Capitol Hill.
First thing I
Is
wanted to
this
say.
the actual Cometown YouTube channel?
Timing, because
Oh my God,
I
this.
personally like to go off about censorship, but considering the current context, it wouldn't be received as anything other than me being a Nazi apologist.
Yeah.
Right.
Doug has his own issue he's dealing with big tech silencing people,
Uh-huh.
and we can
Yeah.
have Doug on discuss his issue in a way that won't make people, send send hate mail
Ooh.
to me.
Wait, Doug, real quick, also,
I can't guarantee that, guys.
No,
but
that's fine. It's the kind I can deal with.
real quick, we're
That's
Intelligence.
The one thing I will say is that the hate I get from like
Mad from nuclear war is endemic, but there we have gained tolerance. Listening to Epoch, listening to Cumtown. Yeah, we do. Listen, man, we do some cool stuff on here. What can I say? Listen, this is a cool live stream. I do some cool live streams here and there, but yeah. So I take it this is like definitely like do they have a Twitter? Like I'm sure Cumtown has like some fucking Twitter thing or whatever. I've heard people talk about Cumtown, but I thought Cumtown was like sort of a meme on its own.
people.
I like it.
is that still a
They'll
thing?
just call you a faggot and then they stop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
that's easy to deal with.
Uh-huh.
It's the people that
Everything happens in LA. Yeah. I don't know though. I'm not gonna lie though, guys. I definitely kind of like I don't know. Maybe this is a little abrasive, but I find like this whole like trolley sort of aesthetic sort of cringe at this point. Like it's just kind of overdone, but I don't know. I don't want to be I don't want to be the cringe cultural critic or whatever. Everything happens in LA. Yeah, dude. Peak postmodernism. I mean, this really is though. Like if you think about it, like the entire face of this is just radically unserious. Yet they're talking about the most serious things that you could ever talk. Like really, like what is more serious in so many ways than like the sort of political environment that we live in? You know, like people talk about man, okay, this is something that probably bothers you guys here. I'll go ahead and this is something that sort of bothers me. Do you guys like okay, there's people who they sort of will try to act like they're the authority on something and they'll be like, man, why? And they'll play like the moderate centrist sort of persona when they just have no idea what they're talking about. Like, man, why is everyone getting so angry? Politics isn't real. Like politics isn't that serious, man. It's like, no, actually like politics is the most radically serious thing in this world. Everything else is sort of like unserious in a lot of ways, you know? Like the structuring of like human civilization, the structuring and the organization of it is like if there is anything serious, it's probably that. And I sort of get this. I don't know. Yeah. Walter Ramirez sup, like Seinfeld the show. Gotcha. All right. Oh, pretty funny stuff. I'm gonna. You know what I do like?
Yeah, you put on a wrestling onesie.
it's a new season.
Support the boys on Patreon.
Yeah.
Oh my God, their Patreon is $71,000 a month. The fuck, guys? Dude, what's up with fucking have you guys noticed podcasts are just like the most insanely lucrative thing you could ever fucking do if you make it? Like, fuck me, man. Like, I need to start a podcast. Not really. I'm not going to. But podcasts, like, for real, are the most lucrative fucking things ever on Patreon. Like, YouTube channels aren't shit. It's fucking podcast, man. Everything's, yeah. Politics and ideology. This show isn't postmodern or political in the slightest. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I might totally be speaking ahead of myself.
That hasn't changed this year.
Are you guys still there?
Because I don't know much about Cumtown.
Stole your shit.
That is
stole our shit.
sorry to stop you there, but that is one of the gayest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, so, I mean, this totally might not be. I just would imagine, they have pictures of fucking Trotsky and Stalin and Mao and shit. I would imagine that they still do talk about politics quite a bit, and they probably do get into serious subject matter, and they speak about it seriously, but then they just make jokes a lot. So I don't know. Yeah, go to Pill Pod, my dude. I would love to go on the Pill Pod, but yeah. Listen, if you guys want to annoy, I don't know, don't really do this. So if you want to annoy Plastic Pills about it, go for it, but don't do that. Not in the mind of Louis Althusser. How's that? Oh yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. To me, that's sort of how I look at some like this contemporary postmodernism a little bit, as this unserious yet serious at the same time politics in a way. They're just a bunch of New York stand-up comedians who share an app. Yeah, okay, probably. Then I probably totally spoke ahead of myself. I don't know anything about Cumtown. I'm sure they're pretty cool. 0 Inches books. I like that though. Bitcoin financed. I have, we haven't really talked about blockchain a lot. I like blockchain. I think blockchain's really fucking sick, guys. Much at all. Gotcha. Okay. Do I know Plastic Pills in person? No, I mean, not like in person. No, he's across the border in Canadian land. But no, I've talked to Pills numerous times. Me and him will, I don't know. Yeah, we communicate sometimes. But so a lot of with Lacan, he kind of helped me out a bit. I'd message him about questions about Lacan. Lacan's confusing as fuck, guys. And yeah, so we've talked about doing something like that before, but I don't know if it'll happen. It is cool to share an apartment in France. Cool. Everyone has to share an apartment here. No one has any money. Do you think theogram? I don't know how to pronounce that. Is ruining politics. After talking with centrist liberals and conservatives, I found that the idea of politics on the internet is so far from reality. Yeah. Oh, theorygram. Okay, I see. God damn it. I thought that was an actual word or something that I've never heard. Okay, here's the thing. Politics is devoid of reality right now, kinda, but it's getting, guys, I think that's the thing. I think politics, can we say this? But honestly, everything that Trump did kind of devolved. It came from the internet. We're talking about not to get too cringy and deep and theoretical, but at this point, in a way, politics purely exists away from reality, right? So what we saw with Trump and Twitter and QAnon and stuff, what's happening on the internet kind of is actually, it manifests in reality anyways, right? So it's we're getting to the point where we're not going to be able to discern between the two. And then, but in the lens in which you mean that, I know what you mean. Who was it? I'm going to go back up the chat. Who the fuck said that? Thomas. Okay, I know what you mean by that, right? It doesn't reflect reality, what most people think and stuff like that. That's true. I think in a lot of ways. And I think that is also, we can take that other theorygram is telegram. Yeah, I think in another way, I know what you mean by that, and I think that is true. This is something that I want to hammer into some fucking people who are I'm more left wing than you, the sort of fucking the left wing Olympics Marxist approach, the online Marxist crowd is that they'll shit on sock dems all the time. I'm listen, dude. Social democracy is pretty fucking radical to a lot of these people. In reality, it's the reality. In reality, it's not that radical, but it's a really radical thing. So I still think we should consider what most people think as far as politics goes. But yeah, I think though in another vein, I'm kind of the point where I'm dude, it's kind of scary. This virtual reality is quickly becoming reality, way faster than what we want to admit, for sure. So yeah, I mean, truly, guys, I can't tell you. The GOP is a little boned right now. I was going to talk about that too, right? We had the entire impeachment thing. The GOP is kind of boned in some ways. That is okay. What happened with Parler being shut down, guys? I think that side of Trump supporters, they may be less in numbers, but they're a lot like kind of Bernie supporters or the left-wing part of the Democratic Party. The left-wing part of the Democratic Party is the Democratic Party at this point, if you ask me. Conservatives are right in that regard. They are the future. If it wasn't for Bernie Sanders, if it wasn't for people on the left, the Democrats would be fucked right now. Utterly fucked. This two-party system would be fucking guys, I don't know what the political realm would look like if Bernie Sanders didn't exist, or a new left-wing insurrection within the Democratic, actual left-wing, center-left politics within the Democratic Party. What happened with Parler? That's purging all of the left, left's communication, all of that shit. So that's a big fucking blow to Republicans, believe it or not. And in that sense, this is where virtual reality, the online area of politics, is very important, right? forgot how to organize. Well, yeah. Well, so it. Okay. So neat. I don't know. You may be in the United States. The only people who do organize in the United States, neat, are left wingers. I think that's the problem is that we had a shift, from the Reagan era, the neoliberal revolution sort of thing, where activist bases weren't like nowadays. That is actually all who organize. Like the old guard liberal, like blue dog Democrats and shit like that. They don't fucking go out and protest. They don't do any of that shit. It's all left wingers now. So that's what I mean. Like the future really is the future of politics in the United States, at least among the Democratic Party, is going to be much more activist based. And it should be because at least with my experience, dude, the people who are organizing and doing stuff today, they're lefties. They're not like centrist. Yeah. But yeah. Isn't this virtual / real distinction antithetical to postmodernism? Well, I think understanding virtual reality as actual reality is a very postmodern thing in a way. Cleveland Browns are actually a good team. Are you? I don't know. I have no fucking idea, actually. Why neoliberal reasons is so violent? Well, it's just austerity politics, man. It's just completely cut every safety net under, cut every fucking safety net and let the poor fucking starve or really make their lives extremely difficult. Neoliberalism also doesn't really exist. We pretend like it does. It's just that we stripped social democracy away from workers, and rather social democracy or socialism went to the rich. It just it used to be we did have sort of a social democratic approach with even corporations and workers in the United States under FDR. And I say kind of because I don't even think FDR was the United States at that point wasn't even a robust social democracy. I consider Scandinavia today robust social democracies, but yeah. So in that sense, Zizek says neoliberalism doesn't exist. It's fake. It's true. We bail corporations out every fucking 10 years or so. And in that sense, it's just neoliberalism fails every fucking 10 years. Then we have to go fucking pretend like it doesn't. Leftist and left winger sounds weird to hear. How's that? Just tree? Fuck no. The actual content of a neoliberal economic system absolutely does not exist at all. It doesn't. I can't expect anything less neoliberal than actual subsidizing fucking fossil fuel companies. That's completely antithetical to neoliberalism, right? So our economics today is subsidizing what? Neoliberalism is just radically free market politics, though, right? I don't think that's what Oh, that's what you mean? Yeah, no, I don't think that's I think neoliberal. That's not necessarily neoliberalism. That's how neoliberalism operates in reality, but it's precisely because it's not the actual definition of neoliberalism per se, right? I get, yeah. So Zizek says the same thing. Neoliberalism doesn't really exist because neoliberalism is the central philosophy back to radical, just pure free market fundamentals and no government intervention as far as social programs goes. And in that sense, it doesn't really exist because we have to fucking bail corporations out every 10 years. But yeah, the theory, the philosophy, oh, absolutely, we're a totally neoliberal country. I'm going to look this. Do I got the definition of neoliberalism technically incorrect? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's literally what this is saying here. Neoliberalism is contemporarily used to refer to market-orientated reform policies such as eliminating price controls, deregulating capital markets, lowering trade barriers. That's neoliberalism. Free market trade. It's the return to classic free market trade. That's because capitalism beforehand wasn't like that. Before the new neoliberal push that we saw in the 80s, capitalism was pretty heavily regulated, right? So, yeah. as Marcuse, Phenomenology of Science. Have you read Harvey? I think that's how he defines neoliberalism, but whatever, same problem if it's not the right descriptive word. Yeah. Does Harvey describe neoliberalism as like government subsidizing of like large corps and shit? So what's your guys' definition of neoliberalism then? Is it like is it just like subsidizing corporations? Is it like government, government subsidization of large pre-existing corporations? Is that like your, because when in my like where I was taught and how I understand it, it's that like neoliberalism was the radical return to free market principles, not like free market principles for everyone else, but subsidization for large corporations. Yeah, but is also the state working with corporations? Do you major in philosophy? No, I majored in political science and history. Okay, so is that actually the Dave? Okay, well, that's pretty fucking different. That's pretty fucking different than what I was taught, but that's fine. It's just kind of semantics at that point. Born out of the Reagan era, right? Right. Free markets, but strong conservative social policies. Yeah, that's how I understand it, Farrell. But yeah. Oh, so it's inherently contradictory. So baked into the larger grand scheme, that's what neoliberalism is. Yeah. So in reality, I would say that's actually neoliberalism, but then it completely contradicts it's like larger tenets. Yeah, that's that's the ultimate thing. It's just like mass deregulation, free market fundamentals. And in that sense, like subsidizing corporations is not free market principles. That is maintained by the state. Gotcha. Okay. So I actually like that. In practice. I like that definition better for for neoliberalism. I think in practice, I'd consider that absolutely like what neoliberalism is, but that's sort of like the actual descriptive definition of it seems pretty contradictory, but that's absolutely how it works in reality. Nonetheless. Neoconservative, like, this is the funny thing. All right, like libertarian and neoconservatives are just like on almost everything they're the same except like 10% of their politics where they disagree on whether you should allow people to like, I don't know, regulate who sleeps with who and shit. That sounds like a very David Harvey thing. It's a very dialectical approach to neoliberalism, but exactly why that's a good definition. I would prefer that. I think it definitely encompasses the result of neoliberalism for sure. America was overthrowing Latin American countries. They implemented neoliberal policies in place of national. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I had to take what is it? I had to take a Latin American international relations class, and it was just pure, guys. It was pure, absolute rationalization as to why Reagan would overthrow governments. Like, I swear to fucking God, my professor, like, I don't, like, it was just like, well, the CIA got involved because, those lefties were kind of bad in some ways. They kind of, they rebelled against the state and, not good. And it's just, it's just like, dude, guys, international relations as an academic like endeavor is fucking terrifying. That shit is like neo-Nazi level shit sometimes. Like, it's bad. It's really, really bad. But yeah. Did not have free market for helicopter rides. Oh God. Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, no. What the United States did in South America is like the worst thing ever. And then in academia, you go take a class on international relations. It's like, well, we gotta look at this from the unbiased perspective. Where like, well, the United States kind of did have a point. It's like, fuck off. Nepalese revolution. So we can talk about that later. I actually don't know too much about it, but another aspect of neoliberalism is how the government outsources control into private sector. For example, how we have. Yeah, that's a good, yeah, sure. I like that. That's true. Very, very true. What do you do at the point when submitting essays? You just echo what the professor wants to hear? Sometimes, yeah, depending on the class, for sure. Absolutely. All my essays in school are affected by what kind of class it is and how I can tell the tonality of the professor, for sure. So guys, I think that is it. I wanted to do a little bit of stream, just kind of hang out just for a little bit. I actually am going over... I gotta leave soon. I'm going over to my madre's for dinner tonight. She's making me free food, so I gotta take advantage. Anyways, I gotta go. So global studies is slightly better than international relations, I'd imagine. They probably take a more like human approach to stuff rather than like international relations is just pure fucking rationalization for like fucking genocide, like absolute genocide and like colonialism, imperialism. Where do you get all your definitions from? LO, what is this? Where is the post-war critique? Post-war critique? Huh? I'm very confused. No point to undermining. Definitely get Victor on. Yeah, we will, I think Friday. I think that's what we are going to do, maybe? May not, but yeah. Plastic pills look sweet. Yeah. So I will see you guys. I will see you guys later. Appreciate all you guys being on here.